fact, it says the Fever will be actively involved in the 2025 free agency with two main goals: retaining all-star guard Kelsey Mitchell and adding more star power to their pair with standout talents.
Did you see that? Satou Sabally, the WNBA's top free agent, just left the Dallas Wings, and now the Indiana Fever are making their move to sign her and change the league.
As free agency is currently underway and about to get kicked off, the Indiana Fever is the hottest team in discussion for the 2025 WNBA season. There is a lot on the line for this young basketball team.
The Fever aren't alone in the race. The New York Liberty and Chicago Sky are also in the mix, making this a high-stakes battle. Who will come out on top? And can you believe what just happened in Dallas? Satou Sabally, the Wings star, just left the team, shaking up the WNBA.
So Satou Sabally has officially said that she is gone. She is not coming back to the Dallas Wings, which I thought was interesting because I did think that with Satou, with her, Paige Becker's likely going to go to the Wings. With Satou, with Enrique Gambawale, they could have been a really good team.
Sabally was a key player for Dallas, but behind the scenes, things weren't right. Sources suggest all was not well in the locker room.
There must be something going on with the Dallas Wings. So obviously Satou said that with Unrivaled. As you guys can see here, WNBA free agent Satou Sabally declares time with the Wings is done.
There was tension between Sabally and the coaching staff over her role. It's like having a Ferrari and not knowing how to drive it.
Somebody said, wow, that at the same time Kurt Miller was talking about the need to complement her skills in Dallas, not on the same page. Now, they more than likely possibly ain't on the same page.
Ouch, it's like saying, we got an amazing player, but we don't know how to use her. Then Sabally announces she's done with Dallas. Can you imagine being a Wings fan? One minute you're dreaming of championships, the next, your star player is gone. It's not looking good for Dallas.
That is Satou Sabally free agency. She is a big-time free agent and arguably the biggest free agent in all of the WNBA.
The Wings are scrambling to fill the gap left by Sabally, facing a major strategy overhaul. Just when it couldn't get crazier, here come the Indiana Fever.
New York. Now, with her coming over to the Indiana Fever, there ain't really much they got to do to get her. You know what I'm saying? Move a couple pieces, boom, bow, get rid of some overpaid players that ain't worth the money anyways. And there we go. The Indiana Fever is automatically in championship contention.
The Fever are building a championship team, and now they're eyeing the final piece. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, is rewriting the rule book and drawing attention from stars like Satou Sabally.
About Caitlin Clark,
I think the WNBA narrative right now is Caitlin Clark, and I think that's a good narrative, but it's also not the only narrative. Caitlin is an amazing generational talent, and she's going to do amazing things. You're the number one pick. People are going to go after you, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons, because they see greatness in you. And what the WNBA is measuring one type of greatness against the other greatness. There's just so much more to the WNBA than Caitlin, but Caitlin is the face right now, and that's also good. She's selling out gyms. Why would you hate against that? We had a sold out home opener. I think it was a practice game, like it wasn't even serious. We benefited from that because now we have all our fans there and they're excited, and you have new people coming into a market. She is her own economy, and that is amazing, and she's being paid her worth. And now we need to get other women on board to get paid their worth, because she's the reflection of what should happen in women's sports.
The Fever have Kelsey Mitchell, a scoring machine, and she's the only one eligible to be CE. Indiana is focused on keeping her while targeting Sabally.
By season, if they can somehow figure out a way to get Kelsey Mitchell signed and get her to stay in Indianapolis, there is one power move on the table that everybody is paying attention to.
Think the Fever look good, but can they sign Sabally? Here's the twist. Amber Cox, the Fever's GM, has a history with the Dallas Wings.
Now, the only thing I can see that will help the Fever get this approved is Amber Cox. Now, Amber Cox came to us from Dallas. So that's Satou Sabally's current team. So if Amber Cox already got a relationship built over there with Dallas, do what she got to do. She know the people behind the scenes, and maybe she might get this approved.
Cox's connections could be the key. The Fever are hungry for a championship, and with Sabally, they're just one star away from being true contenders.
Now, Satou Sabally, she's young, fit, she's aggressive, and she's a big-time playmaker. Now, there is sources, people saying Satou Sabally likely fit better in Indiana.
With Sabally, the Fever would be unstoppable. Then the New York Liberty entered the picture, and they're not here to play, They're after Sabally to win.
Shit. I think Satou, if you're asking me where she's going to go, I think it's going to be New York Liberty. I would say if you were to ask me for my percentage chances, I would say 20% Sky, purely because the Sky have the best offer that they could give Dallas. I would say 30% Fever, and I'll go 50% Liberty. I'll go 29% Fever, 51% Liberty.
You're right. The Liberty's team is already stacked with stars like Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. But here's the twist. While the Fever have Caitlin Clark, the Liberty have Sabally's sister, Naira, already on their roster.
And when asked if she liked to play with her sister, Naira Sabally said, yes, of course, in the future, I would love that. Which means, look, I think it's likely that Satou Sabally she's going to be playing for the New York Liberty now.
Imagine the Sabally sisters in New York. It's a family reunion with championship hopes. But how can the Liberty afford another star? The front office is likely crunching numbers to make it work.
All this and that. One thing about New York is, do they even have the cap space to sign Satou Sabally? What would they have to get rid of to make it work, to make sure she get there? Would they lose their bench? What will happen? That's my biggest thing with them signing Satou Sabally in New York.
Johannes, and people don't realize the assets the Liberty actually have. Like, the Liberty have incredible assets as far as they're just people that aren't currently in the WNBA. They have a lot of these assets and maybe don't want to come over now. The best trade package is the Liberty. I still think that would be our preference because New York is still New York. Yes, it's not the Indiana Fever, but it's still New York. She's playing with Sabrina. She gets to play with her sister. She plays with Fibic, who she plays for with the German national team, and it's as good as guaranteed a championship. It would break the league, completely honest. Probably comes down to, I think she'd be happy to go to the Fever. I think she'd be happy to go to the Liberty. And I have a really weird feeling she'll be happy to go to the Sky. Do that. Obviously, I think her preferences would go Liberty 1, Indiana 2, and Chicago 3. But I think of all three of those teams, the best trade package is going to come from Chicago. Because I think with Satou knows that there's a lot of outside of basketball things when it comes to her, that she has the ability to make a lot of money outside of ball, and she's looking at the situations where she could do that.
On January the 21st, teams can begin negotiating with free agents. So like the Satou Sabally situation, this could get started by the 21st of January.